Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Well, we've had lots of sunshine out there this afternoon as we take a live look with our SkyTrack camera out in Freeport. Not quite as warm as what we were yesterday thanks to a northeasterly wind, and we do still have a bit of a breeze coming in anywhere from 5 to 10 and at times 15 miles per hour, but not nearly as gusty as what it was yesterday. Temperature now up to 56 in Rockford, 54 in Freeport, 55 in Rochelle, Janesville, and 53 now our temperature out in Monroe. Temperatures will dip tonight below freezing, so as a result we've got a freeze warning that goes into effect for all of northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. We'll look at how long we'll deal with the cooler temperatures coming up in the First Warn forecast a little later.
Stateline emergency responders are called to a rural crash this morning. The accident that sent one person to the hospital. Plus renovations to the BMO Center, how staff are hoping to grow the fan experience. And local students put their brains to the test. A Quiz Bowl team destined for the national stage.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
A good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David Greenberg. Mimi is off tonight. One person is in the hospital after a Stateline crash early this morning around 8 o'clock. Boone County Fire Protection District 2 was called to Garden Prairie and Marengo for this crash where 3 cars had hit each other at the four-way stop. One person was taken to a hospital for treatment. 2 others refused transportation. A local college is now raising awareness about sexual assault. Rockford University holding that event to recognize Denim Day. It began after the Italian Supreme Court overturned a rape conviction because the victim was wearing tight jeans. Community partners will be at RU sharing sexual assault support resources for students. Also a kickball tournament where participants play in jeans. That event is set to end at 6. Do want to remind you here at Eyewitness News, we're committed to supporting survivors of all forms of violence and abuse. So many resources right here in our community. Go to mystateline.com, click that Stateline Strong tab for more. Well, the BMO Center is making some upgrades. Maybe you've driven by, seen some. Rockford Area Venues and Entertainment Authority held a meeting to explain some of these new plans. Changes are coming to one side of the BMO on Chestnut and Main Street. The elevated concourse, that is going to be all new. Curtain walls and panels, they're replaced. A new drainage system's hoping to get water away from the building. They say this was necessary to avoid getting leaks.
Our customer service, our fan experience has really been elevated with all the modernization we've done in the building. We have game night, and even for shows like WWE, you know, with the new sound system and the new scoreboard and the LEDs inside the arena.
Well, the project began last summer but had to be on hold due to weather. Construction is now set to start again May 6th. New details have come out about a potential new venue for the Chicago Bears. The team's the team's president, Kevin Warren, and the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, spoke at a press conference about the new plans. Warren talked about his commitment to stay in the city after speculation the Bears were looking elsewhere. The mayor says the new development meets his criteria of having private investment, public use, and economic participation for the city.
Chicago will experience the increased tax revenue from this investment, expanded public recreation, stronger economic growth for the entire city of Chicago for generations to come.
The facility will have a fixed translucent roof similar to SoFi Stadium in California, as well as Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Both are the newest stadiums in the NFL. Well, under new rules from the Biden administration, if your flight is canceled or delayed, you will be in for a refund automatically. The Department of Transportation rules, they spell out exactly when customers are due for a refund for a delayed flight. If your flight's delayed by 3 or more hours on a domestic flight, or by 6 hours or more on an international flight, customers will get a refund. The airline can still offer flight credits, but customers are entitled to cash. Airlines and ticket agents would also be required to have to reveal what they charge for canceling or changing a reservation.
These charges can really add up for things like a checked bag, a carry-on bag, change fees, cancellation fees. Healthy competition requires that as a consumer, you comparison shop, which means knowing the real price of a trip before and not after you buy. So airlines will now be required to show you these costs up front, so you have all the information you need to decide what travel option is best for you.
The changes are expected to save consumers more than $500 million each year. Well, the Federal Trade Commission now votes to ban non-compete agreements. The agreements currently prohibit workers who sign them from taking new jobs in their current industries. The FTC voted 3-2 to do away with these types of agreements. For those who've come across them in their careers, they say experiences vary.
Nobody should start ripping up their non-compete clause agreements yet. Everyone on both sides expects the Chamber of Commerce to pose a legal challenge. And the thrust of that challenge will be that the agency has overstepped its authority.
Well, as of now, the new rule is set to take effect in 120 days. Existing agreements with senior executives can remain in effect, but existing agreements with any other employees will be unenforceable. Companies will not be allowed to have any employees at any level sign a new non-compete agreements. Well, Bergstrom's Stateline Quiz Bowl is coming down to the wire. The show, now in its 10th season, allows some of the area's brightest to be highlighted. Now, 2 local teams will be getting the chance to perform on the national stage. Our Blake Dietz caught up with one of them, and Blake, they are very excited for this challenge.
Yeah, David, these are some impressive students. Along with Winnebago High School, the Quiz Bowl team at Keith Country Day School is looking to represent the area at the highest level.
Really, it's a devoted group of kids.
That group of kids is the Keith Country Day School Quiz Bowl team. The 5 students are heading to the Chicago area this weekend for the National Academic Quiz Tournament's Small School National Championship Tournament. Their coach says their success comes from years together.
All of these kids I've been coaching since 6th grade, so they went through the middle school program with me and then the high school program with me, and it's just been really fantastic developing these players and their skills and their teamwork.
And the team has developed a special bond over that time.
All the tournaments we go to, we all try to ride together. We have traditions where we stop at Dunkin' Donuts, and we're all just very close, and we all look forward to tournaments because even if the tournament doesn't go as well, we're all really good friends, and we spend a lot of time together during the Quiz Bowl season.
Team captain Hadley Slauson says the team makeup has them ready for a long run in the tournament.
I also like how we're able to work together as a team, even though we all have different strengths. Personally, I'm a science person, especially life sciences and chemistry. That's my strong suit, and I'm pretty good at getting those questions. But Colby here, Colby is a huge history buff. Colby knows a lot of history, so those questions really come easily to Colby.
Regardless of their placement, Coach Burns is proud of their growth.
As long as you can look me in the eye at the end of the day and say, you know what, I did my best. That's all I'm asking for, because I know these kids are fantastic and they've worked hard and they've certainly earned the privilege of being there.
And that national champion tournament runs from April 28th through the 30th at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare in Rosemont. David?
Now, best of luck to them moving forward. Blake, thank you. Funding may soon head to foreign allies. Coming up next, the new bill signed by the president now sending aid all around the world. And coming up at 6, Stateline colleges expand their access to manufacturing programs. The millions of dollars hoping to grow the demand of jobs here in Illinois.
Our temperatures may not have been quite as warm as what they were yesterday, but at least we've got sunshine and a little less wind. Wind, however, picks up, and we've got clouds and rain showers and thunderstorms, too, to time out for the weekend. A look at when to expect the first sign of the rain coming in the first warn forecast a little later.
President Biden will sign into law the $95 billion national security package the Senate had passed last night. The president's been feuding with Republicans over sending urgent military assistance to Ukraine. Now he can quickly approve a weapons transfer for the front lines. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports.
We need to move fast, and we are.
Within hours of signing the $95 billion national security package into law, President Joe Biden says urgent weapons are on their way to Ukraine.
I find this amazing. The reports of cheers breaking out of the trenches.
Congress approved more than $60 billion in the package for Ukraine. The first shipment includes air defense capabilities, artillery rounds, and armored vehicles. President Biden says the funding supports jobs at home.
Patriot missiles made in Arizona. Javelins made in Alabama. Artillery shells made in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas.
The president says it also keeps American troops out of the conflict.
To stop Putin from drawing the United States into a war in Europe and in the future.
Republicans made that same argument to win over GOP holdouts who opposed additional funding for Ukraine.
We make America stronger when our allies know they can count on our promises.
That's why Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker also supports the package's funding for Israel, about $26 billion. Virginia Senator Mark Warner stresses it includes vital humanitarian relief for millions of Palestinians.
We have to bring the conflict in Gaza to an end.
And President Biden called on Israel to act.
Israel must make sure all this aid reaches the Palestinians in Gaza without delay.
The president says this support for America's allies is what it means to be a world superpower. In Washington, I'm Jesse Chenor.
Well, the sun has been out, but the colder temperatures could be upon us. When we return, Candace is going to break down our freeze warnings we could see and some storms for later in the week.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, after a little cloud cover out there earlier today, we've had nothing but sunshine for us this afternoon. A time-lapse video here out at the Poplar Grove Airport. You can see the planes coming and going. Just a beautiful day, and the wind not nearly as strong as what it's been the last couple of days. So that has been nice. Our wind coming in from the northeast, which is why our temperatures have been a little on the cooler side for us this afternoon, but still overall fairly comfortable. Now, it has been a rather windy month so far, as we've had our maximum sustained winds really over 20 and even 25 miles per hour for several days throughout the month. Notice here, now we're not talking about wind gusts, we're talking about the maximum kind of sustained wind. So there have been 8 days where the wind speed has been 28 miles per hour or more, 5 days where we've had 25 mile per hour wind speeds or higher, and then 3 so far where the wind has been up to 30 miles per hour or above. We know we've had some gusts here this throughout the month that have been anywhere from 40 to even 45 miles per hour. So a little break in the wind has been kind of nice here this afternoon. 56 our temperature in Rockford, 55 in Freeport, Dixon, 59 now in Sterling. As our wind shifts around to the southeast tomorrow, temperatures will make it into the low to mid 60s for tomorrow afternoon, so closer to where we should be actually for this time of year. 54 for our weather watcher Terry in Genoa, dew point temperature at 32, so still pretty dry out there. And those dry conditions combined with the lighter wind and mostly clear skies will allow our temperatures to drop back into the upper 20s and low 30s, right around 31 degrees. So we'll likely get some frost development here as we head into the overnight. Some widespread frost potential too. So as a result of that, a freeze warning goes into effect for all of northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, and that will run until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, temperatures are right around 63 degrees. Wind will start to pick up a little from the southeast, especially overnight Thursday and then going into Friday. While we've got high pressure over the Great Lakes for us locally, we turn our attention out to the west. Doesn't look like much is happening out there right now, but we actually have an area of low pressure just off the west coast, and that is going to be the driving force for showers and thunderstorms going into the weekend. So increasing chances for thunderstorms heading into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Severe thunderstorms are possible, along with the threat for some locally heavy rain, where rainfall totals could add up to over 2 inches in some spots. So it's not a washout for the weekend, and I do think Saturday afternoon might be our best opportunity for more dry time during the afternoon. Friday morning, we might start to see a couple of showers work in from the west, but I think Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we'll start to see that rain and storm chance increase as a warm front lifts closer to us. That'll carry over into Saturday. As I mentioned, Saturday afternoon, looking to stay a little more on the dry side, and then that chance will ramp back up as we head Saturday night into Sunday. Sunday, we have to keep an eye on the potential for some severe thunderstorms, but really at any point, we might have a strong storm or two going into the weekend. Notice the cloud cover out there heading into Friday. Here come a couple of showers working in from the west and southwest, and those will be with us as we head into the weekend. Might also feel a little muggy too as our temperatures make it into the upper 70s potentially on Saturday, and the dew point temperature goes up, so it may feel actually a little humid there for Saturday and Sunday, but we'll maintain the 70s there as we head into next week.
Seems like got a warm up on the way. Candace, thank you. Scott's in next with sports. Top prospects for the NFL draft are in Detroit. Going to hear from 2 of them who could be wearing the Chicago Bears uniform come tomorrow night. And the Cubs will be without another one of their key outfielders for quite a while.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
The NFL has taken over the sports spotlight, even with baseball going strong and the NBA playoffs underway. For the next few days, it's all about the draft, especially for the Bears with that #1 overall pick. And we'll all be stunned if their guy isn't Caleb Williams. He was pretty chill today in Detroit.
Very normal, very calm. I prepared myself mentally for it. And I've also prepared myself to put myself in this position, ready for the moment, ready to go, ready to lock and load.
And the Bears also might grab Williams, a prime young receiver, to pair up with him. Washington's Rome Odunze could be their guy with the 9th pick in the first round. He's all the tools and size. Odunze is up for teaming up with Williams in this Bears offense.
I think it would be explosive. Honestly, I think there's a lot of weapons on the field in that offense, and I think it'd be hard for any defense to stop that. Honestly, with any sort of double coverage or focusing on one defender, kind of like exactly what I had in Washington. You know what I mean? And I know how to fit into something like that.
We'll have all 3 days of the draft live right here on WTVO. It begins tomorrow night at 6:30 with a preview show. Then at 7, round 1 will begin. And the Cubs are down another key player, Cody Bellinger. He's been put on the 10-day injured list with 2 fractured ribs. The injuries happened last night when he banged into the brick wall in center field at Wrigley, making a catch. This comes just as Belly was starting to heat up at the plate. He was on a 7-game hitting streak. The upside of the injury is the Cubs will get another look at prospect Pete Crow Armstrong. He's been called up from Iowa. Playoff time is big for all of the Ice Hogs, but bigger perhaps for Lucas Reichel and Isaac Phillips than for anybody else. This is their chance to step up and show the Blackhawks that they're ready to begin being big-time contributors for them next season. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we will hear from both of these guys. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Well, Candace is back with a look at our forecast here, and we're at the midpoint of the week. Yeah. We're looking at that weekend. It seems like it's kind of a tricky forecast this weekend. Why is that?
Yeah, we've got the potential for some severe thunderstorms. It kind of all depends on where exactly we see thunderstorms through the overnight out to the west, because that'll impact when and where warm front comes through, cold front comes in too. So all of that will play a factor. But kind of as we get closer to the weekend, we'll have a better idea of when exactly we're going to see the best chance for rain. I think right now it's Friday afternoon, Friday night, Saturday morning, some dry time Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night into Sunday. So Sunday afternoon, we're kind of watching locally the chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms, especially for the afternoon and evening, but we could see some of that also carry over into Saturday. After that, temperatures will continue to stay on the warmer side.
We'll be on the watch this weekend. Yeah. Candace, thanks. World News Tonight's up next. I'll be back here at 6.